For centuries, stories have spoken of children stolen, and children returned who weren't quite the same, from changelings in the old world to hybrid children in the new. But tonight, we ask the question no one wants to face. Why? Why are they so obsessed with our children? Why do they take, and why do they leave something behind? And what does it mean for tomorrow, when the children of the hybrids may already be walking among us? One theory says it's about survival, that their species is failing, genetics collapsing, reproduction impossible, that we are their solution. But if that's true, why the secrecy? Why the abductions in the night, the erased memories, the clinical detachment? If they're asking for our help, then why does it feel like theft? And here's the haunting twist. If survival is their motive, then every hybrid child isn't an accident. It's their lifeline. And that lifeline is tied directly to our blood. Another theory, integration, not replacement, not conquest, but blending, slowly, quietly, until one day they can stand openly beside us. The fair folk in folklore, they lived beside humanity, but never fully with humanity. The hybrids today, they are bridges. Half of us, half of them. But if that's true, then the next time you look into the eyes of a stranger's child, can you be certain you're looking into human eyes? And if they are integrating, is it by choice or by design? And then there's the third theory, the one no one wants to whisper out loud. Replacement. One generation at a time. A slow exchange. Our cradles for theirs. Our bloodlines. Diluted. Our species overwritten. Fairy changelings? Not sickly infants, but prototypes. Alien hybrids? Not experiments, but recruits. And us? Just placeholders until their children take the stage. So let me ask you, when you hear a child laugh in the dark, when you see faces that seem too perfect, too delicate, too otherworldly, do you ever wonder, are these still our children? Or are they theirs? There's something colder than the scalpel, sharper than the implant, something more powerful than fear. It's bonding. That's why abductees are shown children and told, this one is yours. That's why mothers describe holding hybrid infants and feeling love, mixed with dread. That's why fathers swear they recognize the eyes, the smile, the tiny scar. Because if you can make a human care, you don't need chains, you don't need cages. Love itself becomes the leash. So ask yourself this. If you were shown a child, half human, half other, would you reject it? Or would you feel the instinct to protect it, no matter what it was? Paul Anthony Wallis often reminds us, Scripture, folklore, and UFO lore may be fragments of one story, and the Bible itself hints at beings who took human daughters, who bred a race of giants, the Nephilim. Is this the same story, retold through the centuries? Have we been living in the shadow of a hybrid program that began not in 1947, but in Genesis? If so, the changelings weren't just fairy tales, the Nephilim weren't just myths, and the hybrids aren't just modern abduction lore. They're all part of a timeline, and that timeline is still running. So, where does that leave us? If this is survival, will their children one day thank us? If this is integration, will we even notice the line where we end and they begin? And if this is replacement, how long before we are the fairy tale? The children of the hybrids are the children of tomorrow, and tomorrow isn't coming. Tomorrow is already here. Before we end tonight, I need you to know something. I'm not anti-God, I'm pro-truth. I believe the Creator is closer than our very breath, and that searching for truth, even in the unsettling shadows, is part of how we honor that closeness. If this episode made you think or stirred something in you, please like and subscribe. It tells us this work matters. It tells us to keep going deeper, to keep shining light where others tell us not to look. This is what we weren't told, and in our next chapter, we'll step back and ask, if the children are already here, then where are they being raised, and who is raising them?